record writing also, boys. Don't delay your record writing. So yesterday we were yesterday we just started with this, right? The magnetic potential energy stored in an inductance coil. Please write, boys. Magnetic potential energy in an inductance coil Now you should know the principle behind this. Now let me once again go for this self-induction. Now suppose if I take a solenoid which is connected to a DC power supply, right? Now what happens? The moment you switch on the circuit, the current flowing through the coil is going to increase. Say the maximum current that can flow through the coil is 5 ampere. The moment you switch on the circuit, the current starts increasing from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 till it reaches the steady state. So the current flowing through the coil increases. When the current flowing through the coil is going to change, the magnetic field it produces will also increases. Magnetic fields are represented by magnetic field lines. So the number of field lines also increases, which means the flux passing through the coil. Flux means the number of field lines passing through the coil is also going to increase. So whenever there is a change in flux, an EMF is induced in the coil. Now this EMF will motivate the free electrons in the coil to move, constituting an induced current, right? So now look at this, boys. The EMF induced is called back EMF. Now according to Lenz's law, the EMF has a nature, it opposes the cause which is producing it, right, boys? And EMF is induced in the coil. The nature of the induced EMF according to Lenz's law is it opposes the cause which is producing it. What is the cause? The cause is the increasing current in the coil. See, the moment you are switching on the circuit, the current flowing through the coil increases, and this increase in the current is the cause for the EMF induced. So your EMF induced will not allow the current flowing through the coil to increase. So if you want the current to flow, increase and reach a steady state, you have to do a work against the induced EMF. Are you clear, boys? You have to do a work against the induced EMF so that the current flowing through the coil increases and reaches a steady state. So whatever work you do against this induced EMF in maintaining a current in the coil, will be stored as an energy in the coil. Such energy is potential in nature, and we term it as magnetic potential energy. So right, boys, when a time varying current flows through the coil, a back EMF is produced which opposes the growth of the current in the coil. So the current flowing through the coil produces a back EMF, and this back EMF opposes the growth of the current in the coil. So hence work needs to be done against this induced EMF in establishing a current I, and this work is stored as magnetic potential energy. Copy all the 3 points, boys. Boys, please complete all the three statements. Then we'll derive an expression for the magnetic potential energy. Be a bit fast, boys, in writing. Fine. Now I'll go for this. For the current I at any instant, the rate of work done. Right? See, you have to do work against this induced EMF so that the current flowing through the coil is going to increase. Only when the current is an EMF is induced. So I can write this as dW by dt, the rate of doing work. You very well know what is rate of doing work. It is the power. And what is the power supply? It is V into I. So I can write this as E into I. For the current at any instant, the rate of work done is E into I, because rate of work is the power. Power is equal to the voltage into current. So here it is the induced EMF. So dW by dt is the amount of work done per unit time so that a current of I ampere flows through the coil. Shall I move for the next one, boys? Shall I move for the next? Mark this as equation 1. 12b. 12b.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm just going for the next slide. Okay. So you have
Right.
dW by dt is equal to E into I. I have marked this as equation 1. Now, according, we have gone for your induced EMF. You know your induced EMF, E is equal to, I'm just going for the magnitude, L into di by dt. So substituting 2 in 1, substituting 2 in equation 1, we have dW by dt is equal to Li di by dt. So, or else I can write dW is equal to Li into di. Now, what is dW? It is a small amount of work done, right, against the induced EMF so that the current increases by a very small amount di. I can write what is dW? It is the work done against the induced EMF, a small amount of work done against induced EMF in maintaining a current of di. So if the current has to increase by a small amount di, what will be the work done? Okay. So then what is the work done against the induced EMF in maintaining a current of I ampere? That is the next step. So work done against the induced EMF, work done against the induced EMF in maintaining a current of I ampere. So I can write total work done in maintaining a current of I amperes So what is that? Integral dW, where it is going to change from 0 to I. The moment you switch on your circuit, the current is 0, and now the current slowly, it's not slowly increasing, it increases at a faster rate, nanoseconds, and reaches a current of I amperes, Li di, or L is a constant, 0 to I, I di, or I can write W is equal to L I squared by 2. So this is the work done so that the current flowing to the coil increases from 0 to I. And this work done will be stored as an energy in the coil. Boys, complete this. So this work done, whatever work you do against the induced EMF, so that a current of I ampere flows to the coil will be stored as an energy in the coil. So this work done will be equal to U. This is magnetic potential energy. Magnetic potential energy. So U is equal to half Li squared. After this, we need to go for graph-based questions. Thank you. Thanks, Nabil, for creating that link so that there is no overlap of experiments. Boys, first find which group you belong to. Just select your friends so that 3 of you will be as a team today or tomorrow. It's better you select your experiment today itself and go for Google search. So you will find experiments. It's better if you can uh, do any experiment outside what is being suggested. There are so many experiments which are suggested. You can go for all such experiments. But be a little bit careful since it's pandemic and we have to restrict our laboratory thing. Like, don't go for a very high voltage of 1000 watts. It's plasma arc. Long back we used to do, but now because of pandemic conditions, so many things are coming into factors. So do which is well within a safety limit. If you have any doubts, please send a message. I will check, because now it's not like previous years where you are accessible to high voltages, all those things I have to check. So there are so many experiments you can go. Spectrometer is one over there. We have 2 spectrometers in our laboratory. I don't know whether you know spectrometers. You can analyze, you can get, we can use your ultraviolet light. In laboratory, your ultraviolet light is being provided by mercury vapor lamp, so that the white light can pass through a prism. You will get a spectrum in your spectrometer screen. So then you can find the wavelength of each of your spectral lines that VIBGYOR. But we have told the spectrometer to be under repair. There's a slight way we have to keep it in. Anyone who wants to go for rectifier circuits, that is, you're converting your AC to DC. Do you understand? Alternating current to direct current. You can use that is one of your learning topics in last chapter of electronics and communication systems. Sorry, electronics, solid state electronics, where you will have your PN junction diode. You can use your PN junction diode. You can use a full wave rectifier or half wave rectifier also. You need either 4 diodes or you need 2 diodes. So you can purchase these diodes in the markets. It's available. You can type it in Amazon. Hardly, I think I used to purchase from Knife Road. You can get these small components. Just check. It should not exceed more than 10 dirham or this component. Check, boys. You can check. If at all you are interested in going for electrical circuits, you can do that. Shall I move for the next one? And so one more thing. Anyone who is interested in finding, like in your Biot-Savart law, you have checked what will be the strength of the magnetic field at the center of a current carrying loop. current carrying coil. We do have an experimental setup in the laboratory where the strength of the magnetic field at the center of a current carrying conductor depends on the magnitude of the current. So if you increase the strength of the current, you can check the variation in the magnetic needle. And if you increase the number of turns, that also you can check. And if you change the direction of the current, the direction of the magnetic field keep reversing. So all these three things can be done. That's an easy experiment there in the lab. Anyone who wants to go for finding the strength of the magnetic field at the center of the loop, right? And then anyone who wants to go for what you call it as the bending of a scale, Young's modulus. Just check, boys, if, any experiment related to Young's modulus. So that also can be done. Anyway, I'll go for the next one. Shall I go for the next slide? Boys, shall I go for the next one?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Okay, now look at this. The current flowing through an inductor of self-inductance L is continuously increasing. Plot a graph showing the variation of magnetic flux versus the current. So I'll go for the first one. I think you understand the question. The current flowing through an inductance coil. Inductance coil is like your solenoid. Have you seen the starters in your... Boys, what are the starters? Have you heard about this starters? Where do you come across this term starters? Where do you come across this term starters? Boys, 12B. 12B?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Where do you come across this term starters?
Ma'am, is it when you
Car.
Menu card, yes, very good. No, but in your tube lights, don't you know about these starters? Check your tube lights, right? The one what we are using. Have you come across these small device, what we call it as starters? No.
Yes, ma'am, at the ends of the tube light.
Yeah. Just check what the starters are made up of. That is for you people to check. Well, now look at this. An inductor coil of self-inductance L is continuously increasing. So the current flowing through this inductance coil is continuously increasing. So plot a graph showing the variation of the magnetic flux with the current. This is self-induction, boys. So in that case, you know phi is equal to L into I, or phi is proportional to I. So if I plot a graph of flux versus current, then it will be a straight line graph. The slope gives you the value of L, right? L is equal to phi by I. So that becomes your slope. So this is the first part. Now second part, induced EMF versus di by dt. So E is equal to minus d phi by dt, or E is equal to minus d by dt of phi is L into I, or E is equal to minus L di by dt. Boys, L is a constant, right? Therefore, E is proportional to minus di by dt. So I can plot the graph this way also. Or I can go for E, taking E as negative. Let me go this way. That would be better. Whichever way. So E is in the negative y-axis. This will be di by dt. So it will be a straight line graph. Right? Third one is your magnetic potential energy versus half Li squared. L and half are constant. U is directly proportional to I squared. So U versus I. So it will be an exponential graph. So the equation, U is equal to, have you heard about in mathematics, equation of a straight line, y is equal to mx, y is equal to mx plus c. Same way for the parabola, same way for the circle, you have all these equations. Y is proportional to a square. Have you come across this, boys, in maths? 12B, are you
Yes,
still
ma'am.
sleeping? 9:20. Okay, fine, you plot the graph. Anyway, if I'm speaking to you people, I'll not be able to complete my work. Just complete the graph, then we'll go for the new one, what we call it as. Boys, complete this. Once you have completed, let me know, boys. It's hardly 12 minutes. I'll have to complete the next one. Shall I move for the next? Boys, shall I move for the next?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
okay, fine. Next topic is equally important. What I can say as a 5-mark question or a 3-mark question. Generally, it comes as a 3-mark question. Now, what is the phenomenon of mutual induction? Now, this mutual induction, you have already learnt in grade 10, but still, this phenomenon is very, very important, especially for transformers. Have you seen the power cord of your laptop? Right. Just check the power cord of your laptop. You have a small box-like structure, right, boys? What is the voltage indicator? What is the voltage supply that is required for your laptop? What is the voltage that you require for your laptop system? Is it 240 volt? Is it 25 volt? What is that? Boys, you know what should be the power supply to your laptops? Is it 240 volt? 240 volt is the
Yes, ma'am.
voltage you get it from is 240. It will be less than 240 volts. For your refrigerators, for your electric heaters, high power devices, naturally it is 240 volt. Is it a low power device or it's a high power device? Your television set is a low power device. Your computer is a low power device? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am. Low power.
Yes, low power device, because electric iron is high power device. Have you seen 1000 watt minimum? Your electric iron will have 1000 watts. So all your high power devices comes with 3 pins. Your laptop, does it come with 3 pins? Yes, it comes with 3 pins anyway. One is for safety. Now what happens is the power consumption is less, but if I'm connecting it to 240 volt, this 240 volt has to be brought down, say 65 volt, or I'm not very sure about it. So the voltage has to come down. If the voltage has to come down, we use a device, what we call it as transformers. See, when electric power is generated, now here you can have the generators can be thermal power project. How do you generate electric current in this part of the world? In India, we have hydroelectric power plants. We have even windmills to generate electricity, hydroelectric power plant, then thermal power plant, then we have nuclear power plant. In this part of world, UAE, what do you have? How is your power generated? Was 12B? Okay, anyway. So when the power is generated, right from the power station, your power will be generated to substations. Have you seen the substations? From substations, the electrical power has to be carried to industrial region as well as domestic purpose also. So I think in might be 2-3 in a locality. Have you seen a transformer box? So now what happens is the electrical power supply will carry a high voltage. For example, for industrial purpose, sometimes we require 1100 kilovolt. But what we require for domestic power supply is 240 volt. So now the substations will transmit the power, so electrical energy at a higher power. So you have to bring down the voltage. One is for domestic supply, and for industrial power supply, you have to step up. So for us, they use step down transformer. For industrial lines, they use step up transformer. So transformer is very, very important device in all your power transmission. It's not transmission. In case when you are using all these devices, if the voltage requirement is less, you have to use your transformers. All devices. You can see, I don't know, some of you, whether it's for 12C or 12B, I have brought that small apparatus setup. Have you seen that? A transformer? Have you seen transformer? It will be heavy. Laminated sheets will be used. Okay, fine, boys. Let us see. When you come back to your school, we'll bring a transformer from the laboratory and you can check. Right? Now on what principle does your transformer is going to work? It is based on mutual induction. Now, in this animation, you can see two coils, S1 and S2. Generally in transformer, the first coil we call it as primary coil, the second coil we call it as secondary coil. Now, the current passing through the coil S1 is changing, right? The current passing, that is what is alternating current. This is your alternating current, boys. Have you done this in grade 10? The shape of your alternating current. This is a DC current. This is DC, sorry, I versus T. This is your DC current. Look at this. The current flows in one direction and the current has a constant magnitude. That is your direct current. Where do you get your direct current? You can get it from your cells and batteries. Now, the one which we get from your electrical mains is alternating current. You could see in all the electrical appliances what you use, the symbol. This means that appliance will work only when it is connected to your AC power supply. Now, why is that so? Can you see the current keeps on changing its magnitude? Magnitude means value. It starts from 0, goes to 120 volt, again comes back to 0, again minus 120 volt. So the direction also keeps changing. The magnitude also changes. Such current, we call it as alternating current. So now what happens? Your first coil is connected to an alternating current, which means the current keeps on changing. So the magnetic field it creates also changes. So this magnetic field, right? When it changes, the field lines passing through the second coil. See, the first coil is creating a magnetic field, and this varying magnetic field changes the number of field lines passing through the second coil, which means the flux linked with S2 changes. I and B is for S1. The flux linked with S2 is going to change. So an EMF is induced in the secondary coil, and hence an induced current flows to the secondary coil, and the nature of the induced current is alternating. This phenomenon of inducing a current in the secondary coil due to the current flowing in the first coil changing is called mutual induction. So the current in the first coil changes. So the magnetic field created by the first coil is going to change. This change in magnetic field will change the number of field lines, that is the flux passing through the coil S2, and hence an EMF is induced. And this way of inducing EMF in the secondary coil, we call it as mutual induction. Write the statement, boys. The phenomenon in which a changing current in one coil induces an EMF in another coil is called mutual induction. Boys, can you hear?
Yes,
Please
ma'am.
write. Yes, please
Yes,
write,
ma'am.
boys. Right. Boys, if it is exceeding time, just let me know, because I'm just right. We will introduce the coefficient of mutual induction. But shall I go for mutual inductance?
Sure, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. We'll go for this one. Mutual inductance or coefficient of mutual induction. Now I have two coils, right? S1 and S2. So when the current passing through S1 is going to change, the flux linked with S2 is also going to change. So phi 2 is directly proportional to I1. The number of field lines passing through the second coil depends upon the strength of the current flowing through the first one, or phi 2 is equal to M into I1. Now this M is called the coefficient of mutual inductance. Now how will I define? If I1 is equal to 1 ampere, then phi 2 becomes equal to M. So what is M? Coefficient of mutual inductance or mutual inductance is defined as the magnetic flux linked with the secondary coil. When can you just write this? Will you be able to write this? The mutual inductance is defined as the magnetic flux linked with the secondary coil when a unit current flows through the primary coil. So can someone put it in the chat box? Nabil, can you put it in the chat box?
Sure, ma'am.
Thank you, boys. But please decide among yourself. Today you just check your Google browser and just check what you want to do. And just